In this video, we're going to briefly go through my pin below, close above, pin above, close below intention. You guys hear me say that all the time. Put a little slide in there just for you guys to reference back to, but just wanted to give you guys like an audio visual, representation, a little bit of instruction on how to read this. Okay, so you can recognize by the slide, this is Ethereum. This is that pin below, close above. Took the long position. Okay, like I said before, it's all about intention. I would look back in the charts and I would see these dailies, weekly support and resistance. I would see the high of the day and the low of the day. I would see these VWAPs, these different key levels, okay? And I would look at the chart and I would see these big wicks and price closing back above, okay? Then opening there, pinning down, and ending up continuing to the upside. Closing and opening at the same level with the pins through, closing back above, and price would reverse in the opposite direction. So I wanted to understand the intention behind that. Okay, I don't want to look back and say, oh, that would have been a great place to long. Okay, or I don't want to, wait for price to be all the way up here and say, oh yeah, look, that was a good entry. Okay, I wanted to understand what it looked like on the lower time frames, and what it almost always looks like is notable volume on the lower time frames. For instance, on a pin below, we would get a bunch of red candles on the lower time frames, 1 minute. Okay, etc. And then the quick recovery of those candles would leave behind on the higher time frames, which I would then see the wick below, close above, or pin above, close below. Reverse scope of the move here. Okay, so we'll talk about both. But on the specific instance here, all right, price was dropping to the downside. When you drop down to the 1 minute time frame, what did we see? Okay, let me push the chart together. All right, so not only was this the scope of the move? So if I go back and show you, this is why we're already looking for a long before we see the intention. We're adding confluence to confluence, and of course confluence equals confidence. Okay, let me go back to this again. Sorry, I have to bring it back up. Okay, so you can see from the low, swing low to the swing high, pulled all the way across. Okay, until it breaks, we continue to pull it across price action because it's a valid support level until it breaks and flips to resistance. Okay, so as price is already coming down to this level, we see the previous low here as well. We're looking for longs. We look for longs from previous lows, from support levels, etc. So I'm already looking for longs as price is coming back in this region. Okay, we know the scope extension would be down here, more candles, but we had other levels first. We had the daily support and resistance lining up with the weekly VWAP as it curled up. All right, and then when we drop to the lower time frames, again, what do we see? Okay, because we're looking for our entry. We're at the scope of the move. We're coming to multiple levels of support. Scope of the move, daily support and resistance, and weekly VWAP. Okay, and what do we see? Sure enough, price rejects off this VWAP. No other TA necessary. Just looking at candlesticks and intention, guys. We see the big red candle on the 1 minute. It was all the way down to here into the scope. Snapped back up. Same thing with the next candle. Bang, snap back up. Okay, and then took off. And you can see price comes up into the next scope level. Okay, so if you miss this entry, we're anticipating the recovery of this red, which happened to the dollar right here. Okay, I'll just show you. Okay, to the dollar recovery of the red candle, as anticipated with this huge red unrecovered candle. We see price comes down. Pull your scope, swing low, swing high, pull it across. We don't need the extension because it hit the scope and we know so. What do you see? Scope of the move, right there. Okay, let me get rid of the bigger one here. Okay, back on the scope of the move. So if you miss the initial entry, we don't FOMO in. We have the retrace back down to form that higher low, which almost always happens on the lower time frames, whether it be the scope or higher. Okay, and then price continues to the upside, breaks back above the weekly VWAP, double taps, confirms support, breaks back up again above the next VWAP, confirms support again, and up to get the red candle, leaving behind on the higher time frames what we see, again, as a pin below and close above. Okay, and you see this comes back down, taps the weekly VWAP. Okay, we see it on the daily VWAP again, right? Pin below, close above the daily VWAP. Okay, red candles here as we saw when we look back. Red candles here on this one as well, snapping back up. Okay, because here's the previous candle close. It opens here, Notable volume dropping down. Okay, so this could have in real time been a red candle coming down because it's high volume. Retesting the weekly VWAP to the dollar off the same level. Okay, confirming that support at that level. Let me show you here. Okay, here is the level. You bring it across. Okay, let me make sure it's even here. There you go. Okay, pin below, close above, open, pin below, rise up, pin below, to the dollar, retest, continuation. So if you missed this entry, you could have still waited for yet again another retrace down to retest those levels. Okay, and we see the same things at the highs, right? Coming up to the reverse scope of the move. Price comes up, pin above, close below, open, pin above, okay, closes back down below as price retraces, okay? But the opening closes at the same level, and you will definitely see that for any type of reversal, okay? Open, close together, open, close together, open, close together, because these are market pivots, okay? These are clues. You'll never see a reversal of two different level candles. It's always an open close, always an open close, no matter how small the reversal, okay? It's 99% of the time you will get an equal open and close. So when we see that pin above, close below that we talk about, or pin below, close above, it merely shows us the intention. And instead of waiting for confirmation, we can understand what they are doing when it's happening. When those big red candles come in on the 1 minute, we already anticipate price snapping back up to recover that red candle, which we see it did. Same thing with green when they break the highs of the day or the previous highs or any support and resistance levels, guys. So it's just understanding the intention. And what is that? Induce and trap new traders, take out previous stop losses, and sometimes absorb previous liquidity. You'll see this move pinning below, absorbing previous green candles, closing back above, okay? Sometimes they do one, sometimes they do two, sometimes the intention is all three at the same time. But we're just adding confluence. You see all three, it increases your confluence, which again, in turn, increases your confidence. Okay, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Until then, trade well.